Welcome back to the show. This is Zach Ewing. I'm with Trevor Horn. I'm also with Dennis Moody, the Robert F. Kennedy head coach. Year two for you out there, Dennis. How are things going in Delano?
So far, so good. Guys working hard, and we're ready to get this thing going.
Yeah, it sounds like you were just saying during the break, and you hear this a lot this time of year. We're tired of hitting each other. Let's go hit somebody else.
Yeah, we're tired of looking at each other as well. we're ready. The guys have worked extremely hard since January.
Well,
a grueling summer, and
sure.
we're ready to go.
I have to say, you walked into a situation that most people would look at last year and say, quite frankly, Kennedy's football program had been a disaster in the short history that it had. I mean, they had only won a couple of games the entire time in 5 years. Even the lower levels, the JV and the freshmen hadn't. And then you go 9-3 and you win a section title. How did you do that?
Well, it wasn't just me, obviously. There was a concerted effort by the administration and by the district. They understood the history of Kennedy. They understood how teams and the Central Valley looked at them, and they wanted a change for that. Not for them, but for the school and for the kids. And I had some conversations with our athletic director, Les Lucas. We had a new principal at the time, Jason Garcia, and we were all on the same page as far as how are we going to turn this around. And there was no secret to it. It was, rolling up your sleeves and working hard. And I was fortunate enough also to get an extremely talented coaching staff, and they bought into everything that we wanted to do. We all had the same philosophy, and we just we had no idea what to expect. We just went in at it as attack mode and get after it in the weight room. We tried to turn a lot of guys who just played football into football players.
Right.
And the kids deserve the majority of the credit.
I was going to say, I mean, at some point, the culture is one of a losing team. I mean, it just is. You don't go into games expecting to win them when you've lost 48 out of 50 you played or whatever it is. How did you change that part of it? Or were the kids, I mean, the kids must have been receptive to it.
Well, the very first time we met, I told them, I said, the goal here is to win a Valley championship.
By the way, that is an impressive-looking facility you got over there, Coach.
It is, which helps.
Reserve seating in the middle there. I mean, that's
there is.
That's
it's
some good
stadium
stuff.
seating in the middle section on the home side, and as you said, the facility is absolutely amazing. And when we got a little bit of success, a lot of people started coming out and watching, and to fill that place, you saw the covered eating area. It's a pretty cool environment to play in front of too. So
the next time you interrupt me, I'm muting your mic. We were talking about the first time you met the kids, and you said we're going to win a Valley title. Did anybody laugh? Did you kick them out of the room if they did?
They didn't laugh, but a lot of eye rolls and a lot of yeah whatevers you can feel in the room, and I can understand that. They've never had a coach who was there for more than a year, so they've heard it before. I think the change was when we went from 12 people into zero period to over 70 in less than 30 days.
Wow. And
the types of workouts that we did, we were putting them through things that they've never done before, and you had some drop off, and you had some that said, wow, this is what it takes. We better be successful because we're working our tails off. And, going into the season, we had no idea what to expect. But our guys, because of how hard we worked and the mentality that we said, it's going to happen one day. Why not with you?
Sure.
They bought in. And as soon as we got to around week 4, week 5, I think the majority of the school and certainly the entire team was like, wow, this isn't just winning a game or two. We have a legitimate shot to do something that this school's never done before.
Absolutely. And then you go on to win that Division VI Valley title. And some of the guys who are key members of that team, I know your 1,800-yard running back, Rolando Arona, is gone. But who are the guys coming back who can go give that a shot at doing it again?
Yeah, we have Rafa Martinez. He's going to be our tailback. Just a kid who's stepped up, not just in the weight room, but taken on that leadership role. Our offensive line, especially on our left side, we have Oscar Vasquez and Eric Byer and Jonathan Avila all returning. We have a sophomore who's about 6'4", about 260, and he's working his tail off. Up front, we should be pretty good. On the defensive side, we got Eddie Cruz coming back, Omar Sakar, all guys that were part of last year and understand what it takes and hold the younger kids, the JV kids who are now coming up, and the freshmen that we've had for just about the entire summer, showing them the way. This is how we do things now here at Kennedy. So we're not where we need to be yet, but I certainly like the direction that we're going right now.
Yeah, you have to fight that a little bit, don't you? That you accomplish so much so fast that you can't rest on those laurels, and the kids can't either.
You can't. And one thing that I've told this team, I asked them, we do a team building thing up at Hume Lake, which is an amazing thing that we do. And we have campfires at night. And one message our coaches have preached to these guys is look around. This team has not done anything yet. Last year's team did stuff. But that was a different team. Yeah, we have guys that experienced that, but we also have guys who haven't. So if you're satisfied or if you're happy with what you've done, you're not gonna be as successful as you want to be. Our goals are higher. When you have the state playoffs in play for us for the first time ever. And that's something that we're looking forward to maybe being a part of.
Sure.
Not saying that, that's where we're going to be, but that's certainly our goal.
I think objectively anybody would look at it and say you guys are the favorites in Division 6 yet again with what you got coming back. Now, I know you don't want to say that,
and I won't.
But we'll say it for you. Let's take a look at the Kennedy schedule and actually look at how that breaks down here. And the SSL, of course, mostly not Division 6 teams, and so that's where the real challenge will come in, I know. You start out with, I believe, Granite Hills in D6 now and Strathmore McFarland, so you do have some of those D6 type games to maybe kind of prove your mettle to the seating committee. And then you get into the league game starting that September 25th with Shafter, Bakersfield Christian, Wasco, Chaves. Boy, that's a gauntlet right there.
No, that Shafter through Chavez.
Well, and then even the 2 road games at the end. I mean, let's just include them all.
The SSL for us is not easy, but it's something that we actually embrace. Those teams make us better. They're usually bigger. They're usually more physical. Obviously, every team is well coached, and for us, we understand and we need to get through those games, and it's a great challenge for us. Yes, we want to win those games, but more importantly, compete. I mean, last year we lost 28-7 to BCHS. We were only down a touchdown to Wasco. We were up 6-0 against Chavez last year and thought we had a chance to win that game. Games that in the past where they were blown out, we were now competitive.
Sure.
And that builds that mental toughness that we're looking for and that we're trying to create. And the SSL for us is perfect. Yes, we would like to win a league title. We're realistic when we look at the SSL. At the end of the day, what really matters is a Valley Championship and ultimately, winning a state game.
Sure. And that, those 3 games you mentioned were the only 3 games you lost. You really weren't that far away from having a really special season, and maybe that's in the cards this year. By the way, I was looking at Rafa Martinez, you mentioned. By the way, he had many fewer carries than Rolando did last year. He had a higher yards per carry average, 8.2 yards per carry. Rolando was at 7.7. Your offense, and we've seen it up at Porterville too, you spread guys out, you find seams for them. I mean, do you have the personnel to do that type of thing this year?
When you miss a guy like Rolly, he was 6'2", ran a 4.5 40, 4.4 40. Obviously, we don't have that. We miss it. But we have a lot of guys who can play all 3 of our back positions. Okay. And, it's up to us as a coaching staff to put those guys in situations where we've set them up correctly or we can give them an opportunity. And each guy feeds off of each other depending on, the type of player or where we're going to put them. So we have the guys who can definitely do it. It's not going to be a one-man show this year like it was last year.
Very good.
Going back to that sophomore, that was Roman Prieto, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I walked in, Zach, on Tuesday, and we're walking through the weight room, which is that's a good-sized weight room. It's a 2-roomed weight room they have. I look in, and I look at Dennis, and I go, well, you got college guys roaming around here? And he looks at me and goes, that's a sophomore.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
He's a big boy, and he's just a great kid too. You know, sometimes you lose sight of the fact he's, I think, 15 years old, because he looks so big, and he works so hard. And he's a kid that, if he does everything that he's supposed to do throughout his high school career, could go on and have some success at the next level.
Well, we talked to Dennis Moody of Chavez an hour ago here to start the show. And
He's Dennis Moody.
Casey Quinn. You're Dennis Moody. We talked to Casey Quinn of Chavez. Now we're talking to Dennis Moody of Kennedy. Both of you guys had it going on last year in your first years in Delano. And I've had other coaches and people ask me, is there something in the water? Or what was the secret to that, and how high can this go as far as what you guys are doing at those schools up there?
Yeah, I think, again, there's no secret to succeeding. And I haven't seen Casey's practices or anything like that, but, you watch them on film, and they're extremely physical, and they're mentally tough, and they're very well coached. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just changing a culture. Again, that's what we tried to do at RFK as well. And to a degree, we've done it. I think it's just the approach. I think it was a new approach that maybe the city hadn't seen before. Delano High School was the high school there for over 100 years. And you had Chavez come in about 10, 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think this is our 7th year there. Those Chavez and ourselves, in my opinion, we never had the opportunity to succeed. Relatively newer, everybody clings to Delano High. And I think what you're seeing now, and we're seeing it at RFK, is there are a lot of younger kids who are coming to the games who can't wait to be a Thunderbird. They can't wait to come to RFK.
Very cool.
And I think that's the difference, the transition in the mentality of the town a little bit.
Well, they've got it going on up there, that's for sure, and that's definitely true. With Dennis Moody at Kennedy, we appreciate you joining us, and good luck with the Thunderbirds this year.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you guys do. Thanks.
Well, hey, we appreciate that, too. We'll be right back. We have George Falgood of Taft, Norm Brown of North, and Steve Denman of Tehachapi. Those are our last 3 here on the BVarsity Super Show. We'll be right back.